cool butts, and welcome to Job Stoppers 101 Sanitation. I'm your host, Bonehead, and I'm going to teach you the do's and don'ts of a tender, loving, equalizing, perfect shop here for you and yours. First step, wash your freaking hands, you freaking bonehead. Make sure it's for 30 seconds at least, or 20. Sing happy birthday or kumbaya, whatever floats your boat and flips your skirt. Alright, that's it. Now you gotta do a nice job of drying your paws. Alright, next step. Alright, this is where shit gets serious, okay, bonehead? Never get to this part without washing your hands first. You smoke a cigarette, you eat some food, you do it outside of this area. At every moment, every given time, you got that? Then you put your flipping gloves on. Gloves are very important to keep from cross-contamination in this bitch. You understand cross-contamination is the #1 priority and not happening. It's a don't. And now we get to the part where we want a plastic barrier in every single surface and orifice of this area. You get your plastic wrap. You get some liquid. It can be water, spray, or green soap. I like to use green soap because it's extra sanitary, you understand? Put that down here. It's gotta be clean. Everything's gotta be clean before you touch anything. So the whole point of using gloves when you touch your gear is to keep your dirty, greasy paws from getting dirtier each time you touch your stuff. And that's what keeps things professional, you understand, kiddos? I do one layer and the next layer, ensuring my tray, my workstation, is completely covered. So that when my paws are dirty doing the job, you ain't touching anything other than plastic or something that's wrapped in plastic. Then you get your dent. Oh wait, I forgot. You gotta wrap this sucker. Some motherfuckers like to wrap this in some kind of lunch bag thing. Now the tattoo industry makes like a whole nice one that looks blue and is all pretty. They put 2 on top. They like to wrap this thing up so that when you're clumsy, you don't touch it and get ink all over it. Cross-contamination. It's a don't! Alright, now you get your dental bid. Dental bid, great stuff. Why? I'll show you later once we break it down. Just the plastic is a don't! Now, typically, you want this in a sanitary contained space. It's not. That's a don't. Okay? This is a yes. Very good job. You get all your stuff together, right? With your gloves on. Alright, you got your dildo, your electric portable dildo machine. You got your inks. It's very important to touch these things with your gloves on most of the time. It's almost impossible to do it all the time. I understand that. But the point is to not allow cross-contamination as often as possible. When you're touching the stencil stuff, stencil machine, stencil paper, you're gonna have to do it without your gloves on. But it's best to do things with your gloves on. Pour your ink with your gloves on. It's good to clean the top of your ink dispenser after dispensing your ink, just to keep things sanitary, because this don't look professional to me, goddamn. Alright, this is a very important part, because touching this without gloves, this without gloves, this without gloves, that's a no! I sometimes get a little willy-nilly and allow it to happen, I will admit, but I wash my hands and I sanitize it with some alcohol. But again, we're trying to avoid cross-contamination, kiddos. Alright, so we got all the things here. And then, let's just imagine I'm getting the A&D cream, put it on there, put in my ink cap there, my ink, boom. Next important step, this magnificent invention in the 21st century is called barrier film. We want to use this in all things that we might be touching during the procedure process, i.e. your shitty fucking cell phone, the phone cover, or the screen. You can just put that on the screen, boom. You want to change your stupid ass song, you change it. No problem, you just take it off once you're done. Put it on the ring light, like a dumbass that you are, because you're always going to be touching it. Without this on, it's a no. You want to move your green light? You put it on here. Without this on, it's a no. For those who've got their portable magic wands, it's important to wrap it up either with shitty plastic or barrier film. I like to use barrier film because it's a little more sturdy. And typically, you want to get the edge of this. You want to cover the whole darn thing. This one's a little long. See how it's kind of not getting the edge there? This is not good too, that's a no. But you kind of just want to get the edge of the barrier film and wrap it all along so that you don't have any openings. So this is helpful, see? Sometimes you got a little coming off, you can just strip it off. And then, boom. You've got mostly plastic covering that. Cover your battery with plastic. With the gloves it sucks, I know. But you gotta do a good job. I kind of like using this stuff because it just feels nice and clean. Okay, now get your athlete's tape. You cover this part usually with just athlete's tape because it needs some maneuver. See, that's why I don't like using this stuff, because you can't click it this way. You make two compartments that are sealed, and there you go. You got your machine wrapped up. All right. Always make sure this is nice and enclosed so your client sees that it's hygienic. You open it up. You break the seal here, just like that, and then you can clip it on. Now you don't got any ink coming in most of the time. All right. Okay, let's go into covering this ding, okay? This, oftentimes, professional settings, we got a bed cover, all right? It's not foolproof. The ink can get onto the bed. So, I like to use some dental bibs, especially if I'm packing a lot of ink, in the areas that the client is getting tattooed. You could use paper towels as well, you know, put the paper towel here, put the paper towel there. But it's helpful to wrap these surfaces. Wrap this one, put a dental bib down, because the plastic just doesn't do the job. Say I'm gonna use plastics, okay? Say I'm gonna use saran wrap. Put some liquid down, I lay down some saran wrap. We don't want openings. We have to use some tape. So any kind of exposure area where, you know, you got the client laying down the whole way, you want to cover the whole darn thing. So it's kind of annoying to use this stuff. That's why the bed covers are preferred. But if you got someone just sitting down, or you're going to use the arm here or whatever, you can just cover one area, that's fine. Or you're trying to be economic, sure. But it's best to cover everything at all times. So you got this going, you cover it. So you got that, you got this. Whoa. You put a layer of tape there. Oh! You can see that. That's a no. At least get rid of the layer that's been contaminated, right? Touches the ground, that's a no. It's done for. Alright. So it's good to cover the parts that are exposed to keep it in place, see? Your client's gonna be tossing and turning going, ah! You wanna cover this, keep it so that it's in place. It's helpful. Trust me, you'll thank me later for it. Alright, then you can do the same for the dental bib. That usually is helpful, because the plastic's mad uncomfortable. It feels like shit. It's like a fucking thong from Temu that you bought for your girlfriend for $2. Alright? Next important part, the breakdown. This is crucial. You got a clean hand, either hand. You want to have one clean hand and one dirty hand. Say this has been touched with my paws. There's fucking ink everywhere. It's a fucking disaster. Also, this has got to be covered too. Always got to have a barrier of some sort. Pillow's got a barrier. This has a barrier. All right. It's always helpful to just put shit down so that ink doesn't get down on the surfaces that we need to be clean. All right. So Imagine this is a mess. These are brand new gloves, okay? You throw away the ones you were fucking using, alright, you scumbag? You put on new ones. That's another point. Even as you're putting things together and you start touching stuff that you shouldn't, as you were setting up like a cord or something that's on the ground, that's a no! Please change your gloves again, alright? So, my gloves are clean. This is my Maticide, sorry. Let's just say this is my clean hand because I'm gonna spray with the Maticide and this is a clean bottle, right? This is my dirty hand. This hand touches everything that's wrapped because it's got ink all over it. So this is my clean hand, see? This is the part that's supposed to not be contaminated or as contaminated. I make an effort to keep things separate, all right? This, I use one hand because this is my clean hand, right? This is my dirty hand. I tighten. Go back and forth with it. But typically try to take apart the machine with one hand, and I use my clean hand for the parts, the components that aren't contaminated. That way I'm keeping things from being cross-contaminated. You see? This obviously goes in the sharps container, not in the trash can, you bozo. Then you unwrap this thingamajig, set it aside. It could either be on your workstation if it's clean, or this if it's cleared off. Now that I have this exposed, I can use my clean hand to take apart the battery. In the future, I'll do a demonstration for rotaries and coil machines. Take my dirty hand to dispose of the athlete's tape, and then take my dirty hand to dispose of the barrier film on the battery. It's a little tough. Same for these guys here. Dirty hand, because this is supposed to be dirty. If you touched it, you know, you only use your dirty hand. Sometimes it gets tricky, and then you're just like frustrated, and you're like, ah, shit, I need to use both hands. It's okay. You just try not to touch it with the dirty hand, and this is dirty now, so you get rid of them. This is up to discretion because if I got ink that's visible on my gloves, I throw it away at the end to finish with the Maticide. But let's just say I got everything off of the machines. I'm wrapping this bad boy up. This is the crucial part. You get most of the stuff that you need to throw away in the trash, and you wrap this up like so that you don't spill ink onto the tray. The dental bib is very helpful for that.
I'll show you later once we break it down.
And you throw that all away nice and neat. So now you got this clean surface. Say my dirty hand doesn't have ink on it, I'm gonna keep this glove. If not, if you got some ink on it, it's probably better you take the glove off and start fresh. So you start using your clean hand and wiping with your dirty hand. Alright? Depending on your Maticide, it takes some minutes for it to be ready. So just take a look at your Maticide. Some is like 3 minutes, others is 5. But you take your equipment, you take your components. If it's a machine like this, you can spray this down like that. People like to do that because the interior gets covered with ink sometimes, just because the cartridge just moves around a bit. And you can let it soak with the Maticide for a while, and that'll keep it sanitized. And you have to wipe all this down at the end. Maybe just let things sit for 3 to 5 minutes and then wipe it down at the end. See, oh look at that. That's from the interior of this bugger. And that's from another session. That's why you gotta keep things clean.
My guys.
Sometimes it's helpful when you don't have shit to do and you're just picking your butt to break things down. Do a deep clean. Maybe do it with a Q-tip or something. But clean your stuff. I like to clean even my ink caps, the tops of them, with a little Maticide or preferably a rum and alcohol because that's a little toxic. Just to keep shit clean. So you clean this guy and you basically clean all your surfaces with the Maticide after you had wrapped it and whatnot, because you just never know just how stupid humans are, and they really are stupid, and we do get each other sick. So that's how you keep things clean, and that's how you keep people from dying and looking like me. And it's something that doesn't cover the surface like this pee pad fully. It's permeable, yes, but it's not foolproof. And so it's helpful to keep it in place by using some tape. It's just a professional way. Same could be said for the dental bit on the tray. It's helpful. Not completely necessary, but it's gonna make your life not a living hell and a headache at the end of the day. So it's helpful to put it down like this, tape it, because you got annoying ass clients who don't know how to stay still, running amok, okay? And before you know it, they get up and it's like this. Alright, so it's helpful to create barriers and to keep from cross-contamination. That's a no. Anything that might get dirty, you might want to clean. You have to clean it basically. You got your stool dirty, clean it afterwards. You got ink on the frickin' floor, clean it afterwards. I like to pour a little alcohol on the ground when I see it happen, rub it in a little, and then pick it up later when I'm done with my job. Gotta put your shoes on here, and you've been walking around the dirty streets. That's a no! Machine's not covered. That's a no! See your little thingamajigs and trying to freestyle on your client without the gloves. That's a no! That's a no! Critters get up on the table and you don't got water to spray them away. Clearly a no! If you have any questions, comments, and concerns, not my problem.